What's up everybody out there in YouTube land? Jose once again from PetRockMedia.com, back with a new video. In today's video, secrets out, Fujifilm has had their summit this week and we now know one of the most talked about cameras has finally been released as far as up for pre-order, but the specs are out. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at some of the comparisons. We are talking about the brand new announced Fujifilm X-H2S, which could stand for speed, which could stand for, whatever you want to call it. X-H2S is here. Let's talk about it. Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, thank each and every one of you for stopping on by. For those of you who have been here before, I thank each and every one of you for your support. On this channel we go over gear, we go over Fuji, Canon, Sony, not so much Sony, but a few Sonys. Not a lot of Nikon, but we do break news on Nikon as well. A lot of camera gear, a lot of photography gear, a lot of cinema gear, a lot of just taking out, geeking out, gaming, you name it. We do that on this channel. If that sounds like something you are interested in, definitely hit that subscribe button, punch that bell icon so that way you're notified of every time we post content to the channel. And again, for those of you who have been here before, welcome. I greatly appreciate the support. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, hopefully to hit 5,000 where we will have a major giveaway. So be sure you are tuned in and locked into the channel. Alright, so Fuji Summit has come and gone, and we now, other than a few lenses, have the biggest announcement in my opinion, and that's the X-H2S. Let's go over some of the specs, kind of look at how it differs from the X-H1, which was released, I believe, 4 years ago. Definitely fact check me down in the comments, but I believe it was 2018 when the X-H1 was released. Before we go any further though, this entire episode is being shot on the Fujifilm X-T4 and F-Log, sent to an external recorder, the Ninja 5, not the Ninja 5 Plus, but the Ninja 5, and I'm recording the audio on a Rode NTG. So let's talk about the sensor. Right now the megapixels stay the same from the X-H1 to the X-H2 at 26.1 megapixels. However, the brand new sensor in the X-H2S is what Fuji is really excited about to share with us as well. I'm going to read some notes because I'm old and I don't have everything memorized. So I'm going to go right here to my phone and just kind of give you some of the specs of the previous generation X-H1 processor and sensor. So the X-H1 uses the previous generation 26 megapixel APS-C size sensor, the BSI X-Trans CMOS 4 sensor, which is also used, obviously we know, X Pro 3, X-T4, right? In the X-H2S, we're looking at a new generation 26 megapixel APS-C size X-Trans CMOS 5 HS sensor, making its debut to the Fujifilm X series cameras. Now this is obviously a stacked sensor like Fuji teased us at the end of last year. We now have it in the X-H2S, and it's my personal belief that this sensor is going to then be placed into potentially an X-T5 or whatever they name it, and the X Pro 4 or whatever they decide to name the new X Pro models. It is my opinion that this sensor will now make its way into these other cameras. Again, just my opinion. Now, of course, stack design is nothing, revolutionary or new. Fuji is now trying to catch up to other manufacturers such as the high Canons, the high Sonys, the A1s, things like that, that share that same stacked sensor technology. So Fuji is now catching up with them and implementing this in their X-H2S. Now, the native ISO range for this camera is on the low end 160 ISO all the way to the high end 12,800, which can also be expanded to as low as 80 and as high as 51,200. Now video, here's where we get, and this video is going to be pretty video spec centric, no pun intended. Of course, this camera does still do amazing photography, has high frame rates, but again, we're going to focus a little bit more right now on the video specs because the X-H2S is going to be, in my opinion, a pretty hefty beast of video camera. Now, what everybody is wanting to know is what is the highest codec, what is the highest quality this camera can shoot, and this camera can shoot up to 6K, 6.2K, 30 FPS with no crop. And it's going to be recorded in 4.2.0 8-bit internally and 422 10-bit externally, which can be recorded, spoiler alert, with a full-size HDMI port. Now the X-H1, kind of to compare, can only shoot 4K 30p. 30 frames per second. So again, this is going to be definitely a boost in clarity, which is going to allow you to then punch in if you do a lot of reframing, cropping, things like that in your video. 6.2K is definitely going to be great to give you that extra real estate. Now, taking from 6K and dropping it down to 4K, you now get a few more options. You get 4K 60p and 4K 120p. Now the 120p 4K sadly does not have audio. It's a super slowed down version. It automatically conforms it to a 24p timeline. Maybe this will be something that's changed later on in a firmware update from Fuji, because Fuji does like to kind of revitalize their cameras with firmware updates. But as of the recording of this video, and as of now, pre-production and pre-orders and pre-launch, we're looking at the 60p having audio, the 120p not having audio recorded to the clip. Now the 120p does come with a crop, a 1.29 times crop, so keep that in mind as you are framing your shots, and is recorded in 4.2.0 8-bit internally and 422 10-bit externally. Now, one of the cool added features that Fuji, in my opinion, has added to this camera is the addition of both B-RAW, Blackmagic RAW, and Apple ProRes RAW. This is the first time that this has been allowed on a Fuji camera. So to me, that's a major win for all you Fujifilm shooters out there, me included. Great way to obviously kind of sync up cameras if you shoot with like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K, 6K, 6K Pro, and so forth, and you want to kind of have a universal image to then grade and post. Having the ability to shoot in B-RAW is definitely a major plus if you're going to be shooting both with those cameras, the Blackmagic cameras, and your new X-H2S. Now, Fuji has also introduced a brand new log profile, the log 2 profile. Right now we're shooting on f-log 1, the traditional f-log profile. From what I've been seeing, it does add a little bit more contrast and a little bit more information in the shadows, but I've also been seeing some, of course these are all on pre-production models, so take everything with a grain of salt from a lot of reviewers. Obviously this can change once production cameras are out and production finalized firmware is out in the wild, but what I've been seeing is there's a little bit more noise in f-log 2, but again, maybe that'll be fixed in post, or maybe that'll be fixed in the final launch firmware, or it is also something that can be easily corrected in post. For a very detailed review, I would highly recommend checking out Gerald Undone's review. It's about 30 minutes long, but if you are into all of that stuff, total nerd and tech geek like I am, it is definitely worth the 30-minute watch, and I'll leave his video down below. I'll link it down below. Autofocus has definitely been improved. That's been a big Achilles heel for Fuji, is their autofocus. Everywhere I've seen, autofocus has greatly been improved. It's very sticky to, depending on what subject you pick in the menus, which does have ability to have birds, boats, bikes, I think, human eyes, things like that. A lot of different objects you can pick from in there and have it track. From what I've seen from reviewers out there, it's definitely improved. There's always going to be room for improvement. I don't think it's up to maybe the Nikon Z9 or the Sony cameras, but I still think it's up there on par, if not just a little bit lower than those other cameras that I talked about. But again, if you're a Fujifilm user, this is definitely an upgrade from, especially if you're using the X-H1, the previous model, or even the X-T4, definitely worth the upgrade in my opinion. And what I didn't mention is that it now will share the exact same batteries as both the X-T4, which I'm shooting on right now, the GFX100S, and now the X-H2S, all share the same Fuji battery. And that's the Fujifilm NP-W235. Again, I'm old, had to get the numbers. Going off with the new battery versus the older batteries on the X-H1 on photography side got about 300 shots. Whereas this new battery, the new Fuji battery, gets roughly up to 715 shots on the photography side. On the video side, I've been seeing individuals get roughly about 2.5 hours of 4K 60p footage on one battery. You add the grip that you can buy for about $400, and it adds 2 additional batteries for a total of 3, because you can utilize the internal battery and then the 2 in the grip. You're looking at all day shooting most likely with 3 fully charged batteries. In my opinion, major plus. Thank you to Fuji. That is awesome. So that is all I wanted to share with you all today. It's definitely exciting news if you are a Fujifilm shooter like I am, and a lot of you are out there. Now that you've made it all the way to the end of the video, question is, have we pre-ordered a copy of the X-H2S for the studio? And the answer is yes. We have just pre-ordered a few days ago from B&H Photo a brand new X-H2S body only. Cannot wait for it to come in. Hopefully I'm not going to get a delay. Like, they're already starting to see that you might start experiencing delays. Hopefully I got in early enough, and hopefully I will get it as it starts shipping out, which is slated to begin July 11th or so. So I'm really hoping that the camera comes in by then, and I'll be able to do some video testing for you guys, bring that to the channel. I also ordered, and just received today as a matter of fact, a brand new Ninja 5 Plus, which is going to allow me to get the higher bit rates recorded externally. So I'm really excited about pairing that with the X-H2S to bring you guys some amazing quality. If you're new to the channel, again, be sure you stay subscribed and hit that bell icon. If you have been a supporter of the channel, I greatly appreciate you all. If at any time you're looking for gear that we use on this channel, they are always linked down below. They are affiliate links, so we do get a nickel for every time you click on that link, and it is at no cost to you, but it definitely helps keep the lights on here at the studio, and I greatly appreciate each and every one of you for doing that, and also stopping on by. If you don't want to support that way, just give a thumbs up. It definitely helps the algorithm on YouTube promote this video more, and that definitely helps the channel as well. I thank all of you again for stopping on by. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.